relax, release, and let go. Just allow the seat to fully support your weight. You may want to put your feet flat on the floor and close your eyes. And just focus on the breath. No need to change it in any way. Just notice how it works. As you breathe in, you're filled. And as you breathe out, you just naturally relax. Breathing in, you're filled with life. And breathing out, you relax into love. Today, we seek our own identity. Who are we? Where have we come from? What are we to do? And how shall we do it? Let's start with these words. Love, which has created me, is what I am. Love, which has created me, is what I am. Now we need seek no more. Love has prevailed. It was waiting so still, waiting for us to come home. No need now to turn away from the truth. The truth of love, the truth that he who stands in front of me has the face of Christ. Each one who comes before us today, let us see the face of Christ. And then what we look upon attests to the truth of our own identity, which we have sought to lose, but which our Father has kept safe for us. And we pray, Father, Mother, God, my thanks to you for what I am, for keeping my identity untouched and sinless, in the midst of all the thoughts of sin in my foolish mind. And thanks to you for saving me from them. Now what happens if I move?
Nothing's
Nothing. So Stephen Covey wrote a book many years ago called 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And one of those habits, it's something that I've used since we had the telephone company. One of those principles, one of those habits is begin with the end in mind. Begin with the end in mind. So at every endeavor, and this is what he said, that every time we begin a task, we should be asking ourselves, what's the outcome? What's the outcome that we're looking for here? And then not through manipulation, but through visualization and guidance, we get to the end. So, and then we know that as spiritual students, we've got some other questions that we need to ask. So when we decide what the end is that we want, what our goal is in the particular endeavor that we're after, we have to ask ourselves a couple things about that. And hopefully we get some guidance, or we're quiet enough to listen for the guidance, and that would be, is this thing that I'm about to do in the best interests of everyone involved? This is where it starts to get complicated, right? Because I have an end in mind. I have an end in mind that popped into my head, which I think would be pleasant for me. Here's what it is all the time. It's either, the thing that I want to do is either to avoid pain, to avoid some kind of outcome that I don't want for myself, to get out of something, or to find some kind of pleasant thing, something pleasure, right? To avoid pain and find pleasure. And it doesn't be some and I'm not just talking about physical things, I'm just saying this, looking for pleasant outcomes for myself. And then I have to short circuit the whole thing by asking if this is for the common welfare. And the other thing I need to think about is, if it's aversion that's going on, I have to ask myself, or I have to ask Spirit, I have to say, why is it that I'm trying to avoid this? What's the deal here? Why? So what we're learning is, rather than avoid, just stay with it for a second, right? Just stay with it. Just notice what's going on right now. Just notice. It might not be as pleasant as we want, but just stand still in that moment and notice the thing that we thought we wanted to avoid. Just notice it. What is it? Where does it come from? Where's it going? I wonder. I'm so curious. What's going to happen next? This attitude of curiosity is just like one of the most, it is just so helpful for us to establish this curiosity. And then, when I'm out there in the world and things are going along very well and it's pleasant and I'm liking it, and perhaps it's the company of the person that I'm with that I'm really enjoying it, and then I start to want to hold on. I start to want to grasp. Because, I don't want this pleasantness to go away. And as soon as I start to grasp, there's pain. So, begin with the end in mind. If I know that my end is for the common welfare, just for a second, we'll just review that. The common welfare means the best for everyone involved, the best for me because I'm part of everyone involved, and the best for everybody else involved. And what the Course in Miracles says about this is how we make these kind of decisions is we stop making decisions by ourselves alone, and we stop making decisions for ourselves alone. So then that automatically is saying to me that I'm supposed to be quiet and realize that this inner voice is there to guide me in whatever it is that needs to be done. And then the common welfare, of course, the second part of it is, I don't make any decisions for myself alone. And the reason why these two things, are so important is because we're not alone. The reason we want to make decisions by ourselves alone and for ourselves alone is because we think we're alone, which is, of course, the whole problem, and which was defined, long ago. Well, it's in Genesis. I'm not going to go through the whole story, but the whole apple affair. This was when we decided that we were alone. All that. It's a story. It's an allegory, but it's like to teach us a lesson, right? So we eat of the fruit of the tree of knowledge of good and evil. Separation. As soon as we eat of that fruit of knowledge of good and evil, we've now entered this duality. We've entered this world of black and white. We've entered this world of right and wrong. We've entered this world of us and them. Or rather, in this context, me and them. You're the them. And so thinking, because I've eaten of the fruit of the tree of knowledge of good and evil, thinking that I'm alone, I begin to have ideas that I have to do whatever's necessary to take care of myself, because you're not with me. You're there. I'm here. You're there. And but it's really difficult. It's really difficult to maintain in the world all by myself. So what I have to do is, now knowing I'm by myself, I realize I have to make an alliance anyway. I still have to make an alliance. So I go out to one of them, maybe a couple of them, and I make this alliance. And I say, okay, we're going to work together on this thing. Now, this is the deal. I am presenting myself that I am now their ally, their friend, their whatever. And I'm saying, we're going to make a deal here. And this may be unsaid. All this may be unsaid. It could just be like I'm hanging out with you, right? I'm not saying anything about it. I'm just hanging out with you. You're kind of like my support. But always, in my mind, I'm still feeling like I'm alone. From time to time, I will feel a bit of camaraderie. I may feel a little bit of connection with you, but still, in the back of my mind, I'm still thinking I'm in this on my own. And so I have to watch you. And sure enough, as I watch you, you will do something contrary to the contract that I think I have with you. I haven't told you anything about this contract. Now maybe somewhat we might have actually had a decision, right? We're coming together for this purpose. We're going to do this together, and this is what we're doing. But even then, in my mind, I've got other articles of incorporation in my mind that I've never shared with you. I may not have even thought about them myself until you do the thing that triggers my fear. You can say triggers my anger, triggers my irritation, triggers my suspicion, but it's all fear. Right? You do the thing. Now you have become, you're not part of might not be ready to drop you out of my group, but you're not quite part of my group. So I either go to another person in the group and share with them what you have done, or some story kind of similar to what you may have done, probably telling it in a way that makes it seem better for me, or I go outside the group and I tell another person, I'm going to go out and make another alliance with somebody else, and I'm going to tell them the story. And this could happen, this could just be, I just went to work and I have a guy that I sit at the table with and have coffee on break or whatever, and I tell him the story. And sure enough, and you know what's so interesting? The way I tell the story, it makes him want to be on my side. Oh, really? They really did that to you? I can't believe it. That's just not right.
and go around life forming these short-term alliances, some of them longer term, but forming these short-term alliances where I am pitting other people against other people for some kind of feeling of security in myself. And here's the problem. As long as I think I'm alone, I am never going to feel secure. No matter what I do, no matter how many alliances I make, they are going to unravel. They are going to fall apart. Because until I give myself fully to the community, until I fully take refuge in the community that I'm a part of, and this could be just a partnership between me and somebody else. It could be a family. It could be a larger community. So this is where we start. Being able to give ourselves fully into the relationship. And this means to lower our defense system. To be open. To be vulnerable. To let the other person know who we really are. Now, one of the things about this is once we start this practice, we don't get it right all the time. Sometimes we will be vulnerable and open to somebody who doesn't even know us, and they like freak out. They may not say anything, but they're not comfortable because it wasn't right yet. It wasn't right. But we can still be open without like telling all our secrets, right? Just to be open meaning to be unguarded, right? To start there with people, just to be unguarded, to be just relax, for crying out loud. Just relax. Be wherever we're at. I talk about this quite a bit, but if you go to one of these little restaurants, like we like Johnny Pancakes, we like going there. They use the wrong oil to cook with, but everything else about the place is kind of cool. But you go to like Johnny Pancakes or Stockholm or wherever you go sit at the counter. Go sit at the counter and talk to whoever comes. Whoever's there when you sit down or whoever comes while you're sitting down. Just start talking to them. Don't just pour everything into their ear, but talk to them, be nice, say hello, so a couple of words, a couple of kind words, and then quiet. You don't want to ruin somebody's breakfast, right? So you just quiet, and then and allow them, if they want, to speak. And then when they speak, just kind of, all of a sudden, it's like you're dancing. It's beautiful. Everything's happening and it's smooth, and you're going with the music, you got the rhythm going on, everything's good. I really can't dance very well, but they tell me I dance on the offbeat. Duke Ellington said that showed the hippest person, the one that patted his foot on the offbeat. So that's the one right there. Anyway, we just open ourselves to life, right? Because this is the end in mind that we're looking for. The end in mind that we're looking for is peace. The ultimate end in our mind should be peace. The ability to allow the love that is in us, what the meditation was, the love that made us, follow this now, the love that made us love, to allow that identity to come forth, to have such a feeling of peace and serenity that we can allow the love to come forth without any worry whatsoever that somebody's going to hurt us. And then what the Course says about this is the reason that we can go without any worry about somebody hurting us is that nobody can hurt us. The real us, who we are at our core, our true identity. If we are at our core, as it says in the Narcotics Anonymous literature, pure and loving spirit, and as the Course in Miracles says that we are love itself cannot be harmed. The problem is we think we're bodies. We think we're separate bodies running around. Bodies can be hurt. We know that already. It's because we designed them that way. And that's what I'm saying, is we designed them that way. So, but really we are safe. We are really safe. And so being safe then, we can live our life on purpose. And this is what the sign is talking about out here, and this is what the fifth tradition in the recovery programs is about having a purpose in life. And once we have a purpose in life, and this is what we know this for sure. We know it from our own experience when we start doing it, but we know it if we look at others. People who have a purpose in life are happier. People who have a purpose in life are more fulfilled. People who have a purpose in life, generally speaking, are productive, responsible members of society. Which is really, I remember a time when I didn't even want to think about being something like that, but this is really a much more comfortable place to be in the world. So this purpose that we taught, and this is what it says above the door when you walk in here, is it says proper service. And it was told to me many years ago that proper service was doing the right thing for the right reason, and we kind of added later at the exact right time. So we're doing the right thing for the right reason, and that always has some, it's always tied into the common welfare. It's always tied into what's best for everybody involved. So it brings us back. So look at how this is all working together, right? This is all Stephen Covey, the Course in Miracles, the Bible, all of it. The other night, a few weeks ago, we had Ken, the God Corner over here. I'm just pointing to the God Corner. Ken Vandermark was over here playing saxophone. He was standing right in front of Tara. This is Tara. This is the Bodhisattva of Compassion. And I swear, her hand, see how she's doing this? I swear she went. It's all working together is what I'm saying right now. When love is moving through the room, it's all working together. All the principles all come down to this one thing, and it's what Jesus said. Love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, with all thy mind, with all thy soul. And the second is like unto it, love thy neighbor as thyself. On these two hang all the law and the prophets. This is it. And all of these spiritual things lead back to that we are going to be happy in love. So we begin with that end in mind. That end that what I want to do is extend love. The end that what I want to do is be of service. I want to be helpful, that this is the end. I want the end of whatever this endeavor is, that it's helpful. Because I know from my own experience and from the experience of others that when I am helpful, I feel better. I feel better. I've lost this selfish agenda. I feel better. And the more I do it, the better I feel. The more I don't do it, the more I'm afraid of of outcomes, the more I suffer. This is my experience. So I want to be, this is the charged word, right? The charged word is salvation. It just means safe, right? It just means safe. But here's what the Course says. Salvation is a promise made by God that you would find your way to Him at last. It cannot but be kept. It guarantees that time will have an end, and all the thoughts that have been born in time will end as well. God's word is given every mind which thinks that it has separate thoughts, and will replace these thoughts of conflict with thoughts of peace. The thought of peace was given to God's Son the instant that his mind had thought of war. So let's just think about that statement right there. So now the Course is talking about way back when, Big Bang time. This is the Big Bang, by the way. Big Bang time. Right at the Big Bang is actually that moment that is described in Genesis as the eating of the fruit. It is this when separation occurred. We were one thing, and then we exploded. It was a tiny mad idea, is what the Course says. That we thought we could be separate from God, and we exploded outward. And it says at that instant, God gave the correction. At that instant. And all this time since then, now it's billions of years, we've still been messing around. The solutions have been there the whole time. We've just been messing around with this whole thing as it unfolds, right? Just think about that whole span of time. It's just you messing around. It's kind of cool. I don't know, kind of cool. But anyway, the idea is that anytime a thought comes in our mind of conflict, God instantly gives us the opportunity to take the thought of peace instead. Just the same way that he did back in when you had the Big Bang. No, just our choice. Shall we take it or not? Right?
There was no need for such a thought before, for peace was given without opposite and merely was. But when the mind is split, there is need for healing. So the thought that has the power to heal the split became a part of every fragment of the mind that was still one but failed to recognize its oneness. Now it did not know itself and thought its own identity was lost. So here it is. This is what the Course is saying is that never really happened except in our own mind, except in our split mind, and that we've been one the whole time. But the problem is, here we sit. We sit now in this experience of separateness, thinking that we are bodies in a dangerous world. And the only way back is to continue to strip away every thought of fear as it occurs and replace it with the thought of love. To strip away whenever we take an action out of fear or anger, same thing. Whenever we take that thought, what it does is it piles up these debts in our mind. What the Course is telling us is it's all unreal, and the only thing it does is keeps you from going back to peace. So put them to rest. Get your mind back to the place where it was before the offense occurred. Ask yourself this question. What is the end game here? What do I want to happen? If I want peace, if I really want peace, if I want love, let me right now in this moment move in that direction. That's it.